God, this story is killing me. There's a group of men's rights activists suing women's organizations for meeting without men, and it's threatening the financial stability of those women's organizations. One of those organizations was Ladies Get Paid. Claire Wasserman started Ladies Get Paid because
I was really upset that 60% of today's college graduates are women, but actually less than 22% of us are making it past middle management. And then I realized that money really is at the end of it. And I also realized that none of my girlfriends and I were talking about money. And we needed a place to talk.
Claire hosted events for women all over the country to talk about how to negotiate salaries and eventually close the wage gap. One member of Ladies Get Paid left an event and successfully negotiated an $11,000 raise. Another member of Ladies Get Paid negotiated a $15,000 raise. Ladies Get Paid grew to reach over 30,000 women across the country.
So you hosted an all-women's event?
So all of our events were for all women.
Okay.
Now they're not. The reason that I made our events for female identifying and non-binary people only is because the premise of everything that we talk about are basically really sensitive, vulnerable, intimate issues that we experience at work as women. And it just was like, if we had men in the room, how could we possibly feel comfortable enough to share these intimate details about our life, you know?
Yeah.
Especially talking about harassment, sexual harassment, assault at work. I did not even consider it to be sexual discrimination.
Claire was sued for violating the Unruh Civil Rights Act, which I had never heard of before. But I'd also never heard of a woman being sued for gender discrimination against a man before. So I reached out to Claire's attorney, Megan Caesar Eastman, to find out what was going on. Megan is based in California, so I called her in the one place I knew we would not be sued for excluding men from, the women's bathroom.
Hey, Megan.
Hi.
Thanks so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about the Unruh Civil Rights Act?
So the Unruh Civil Rights Act is one of California's civil rights laws, and it prohibits businesses from discriminating in the provision of services to those different protected categories.
How is it used in a new way in this Ladies Get Paid case?
Ladies Get Paid, the company, is an organization dedicated to bridging the equality gap between men and women in the workplace. They decided to hold some meetings. They made a decision to exclude men to create a safe place. There were a few men that attempted to come to these meetings who were part of a national men's rights organization. They were denied entry and then subsequently sued Ladies Get Paid for gender discrimination. The purpose of this law, which is promoting equality among all different types of people, and is the same purpose of this organization. So it felt really inconsistent with the law's purpose.
And as an attorney, is that something that you've seen happen often?
These plaintiffs and this lawyer have been involved in a number of lawsuits, including numerous lawsuits targeting women's organizations. But this is the first time in my career I've seen civil rights laws applied in this way as a sword to sort of cut down a group dedicated to women's equality rather than as a shield for a victim.
So I reached out to the attorney suing Ladies Get Paid, but unfortunately he was unavailable for an on-camera interview, citing a disability. But he did point out that he spent the last 15 years successfully suing over 300 businesses and organizations for discrimination against men under the Unruh Civil Rights Act. He successfully sued Club Med for not including men in a ladies-only discount and won almost $1 million. And he successfully sued the Oakland A's for not giving men a promotional floppy sun hat on Mother's Day. And he won $500,000. Ladies Get Paid settled with the men's rights activists for an undisclosed amount.
It's very expensive to go to court, even if you believe that you can win. In this case, if we were to lose, we actually would have to pay the legal fees of the other side. It was financially responsible to settle, as painful as that was.
Yeah.
Ladies Get Paid became Ladies Get Sued. The lawsuit financially crippled the organization until their story went viral. Claire raised $100,000 in 3 weeks to cover her legal fees. Clearly, the case resonated with people.
I think it exemplifies how threatening equality can be to groups that have historically benefited from inequality. And I think it certainly highlights the importance of people like Claire to continue to do their work. My impression and understanding is that they do truly believe in their own mission, which is that men are now being discriminated against to the benefit of women. It's kind of a shocking idea for me to hear.
Megan has a point. Women are almost twice as likely as men to say that they've experienced gender discrimination at work. And over half of Black women say that they've experienced at least one type of gender discrimination at work. And how could we forget that corporate America remains male-dominated? Of the 500 CEOs on the S&P 500 list, only 25 are women. 25 out of 500. That's pretty bad. And not all men are bad. There's definitely a role for men in this conversation.
Of course, there are men who want to be allies, but guess what? Those men reach out and ask, how can I be an ally?
I guess male allies don't sue organizations fighting for gender equality. Just a hunch.
You know, when you come together with a group of women and you want to talk about work and money, that's political. We're more powerful and radical than we even know. And now I've certainly woken up. Everybody who interviews me gets angry emails from him. But that's not, that doesn't stop me from speaking out, and I certainly hope it doesn't stop publications from wanting to write about the story.
I'm really looking forward to him reaching out. I'm so excited.
Well, did he reach out?
Not yet, but I did ask him for his advice to young women, and he said it was to treat everyone equally, no matter their sex, race, religion, or sexual orientation.
Okay, that's time.
It's such a good story.